You can take all of these things off and move them around as you want. We put the Sony in the middle of our bags because I'm being attacked.
I get around and spread the loss. I'm over here, gotta get across. Whether you like it or not, there is a moment meant for us. And now you made it, but I already played this. Not interested, open your eyes, let's get it done. Take my hand, just follow me, shadowing me at one.
So we've just left Avalon Landing RV Park in Milton, Florida, near Pensacola.
It was lovely.
It was. It's a shame that Lawrence didn't really get to appreciate it because he had to work a lot this week, because I think it was by far the nicest campsite we've stayed at. We are now heading to our first casino resort. Heard about these, never stayed at one. It's either going to be really trashy or really nice. I can't work it out yet. You have to pay an additional $10 on top of camping fees for the resort fees, but it means we get access to like the gym and the pool and stuff, so hopefully that should be nice. And we're heading to Gulf
Coast.
Is it the Gulf Coast?
It's the Gulf Coast. So there are beaches close by, and so actually I was talking to our neighbour,
okay, and
where Katrina went through, it actually just flattened everything around there. So the area that we're going, everything is basically brand new, because, I mean, if Katrina feels like a couple of years ago,
yeah,
to me it was 15 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 15.
Oh,
so
wow.
Like the oldest thing there is going to be like 15 years old, apart from things they've managed to salvage. So the casino's got like a lazy river in it and everything like that. So it's it should be fun.
Well, the reason we're going to this area is because this is the one near New Orleans, so that we can go there hopefully around Mardi Gras. So I'll see you there.
Oh, the sky is on fire. The lake has turned to a golden sun. Oh, I'll never get tired. I just wanna dance, just wanna
So I have a bit of a competition. You're going to have about 4 minutes to figure out what the answer might be. We're about to go out to breakfast. We have driven past this particular chain of where we're going to go and eat. Probably about 15,000 of them. They are everywhere. And as much as I hate to say it, we've been in the US now for maybe 7 or 8 years, I can't remember, and we have never been to one. So we're going to go today. I just want to talk about the campsite for a minute once Natalie comes back, and then we will tell you where we're about to go that we're embarrassed to say. So what's your guesses? Throw them in the comments, or don't, but good luck. So I just want to talk about the campground that we're at for a moment, because it's quite different from other places that we've been, in good and bad ways. But we're in the Hollywood Casino in Bay St. Louis, and the first thing that we found was when we turned up, the check-in process is very different. So normally when you turn up, there is a building of some kind where I'll pull up and Natalie will run in, and then she'll talk to the ladies or gentlemen, and they will tell us what spot we're in. And then we go to our spot and we're all good. Well, here we turn up and there is a telephone in the laundry room. So you phone in, and obviously it's because the casino, which we'll show you at some point, obviously has a hotel as well. So that phone goes through to the hotel reception and they tell you where to park. So actually they gave us a spot, and then they said, actually, you know what, we're going to give you this other spot because it's more shaded, which will be better. And we drove around, and I think there's probably maybe 200 spots here, and I think at the time there was maybe 11 people here. So the place is empty, and it still is. Okay, it's not, but there is more people here, but there is still many empty spots around. And so actually what we did is we just found a spot that we liked, and we went back to the telephone and we said, hey, do you mind if we use this spot? And they're like, yeah, whatever. So for anyone coming here, I would very much suggest you just drive around if it's quiet, pick a spot, then go to the phone and say, hey, can we have this spot please? And I'm sure they'll be fine. And actually I'm tempted to do this with other campgrounds as well going forward.
Yeah, true. I never really thought about it before, but you're right, it's first come first serve a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's very weird, and again we don't really talk about this much, but normally when we turn up at campgrounds, if it's half empty, they seem to bunch everyone together.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
I don't really understand why, but I'm sure there must be some kind of logic. So anyway, I think we're starting to learn a bit about this now. So I think maybe they don't actually care. They give you a number just to make it easier for everyone. But I think if you actually go somewhere and then find you want to move, I reckon they'll be fine if you just move, especially when it's this empty. So, Waffle House, our first trip there ever. We've been here like 8 years or something, and we see it everywhere, and we have never been. And for me, it was exactly as expected.
Yeah, it was just like an IHOP. There was no difference.
Yeah, it was. Actually, it was more expensive than I thought.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be a bit cheaper than that, but yeah, it was just.
Oh. Beautiful.
It's my dash cam, sorry. It was it was just like hash browns, bacon, nothing special, but it was a cool breakfast. I'm glad we did it.
Yes, well, at least we won't be hangry today when we go off and visit some museums again.
So we normally find that I get up late on Saturday because I edit videos on Friday night, and then apparently I'm in a really bad mood on Saturday afternoons because I'm so hungry, so Natalie doesn't let me get lunch. So she said, right, we're getting breakfast this day, so that you're not going to be hangry by 3 o'clock. So,
yes.
So now we are going to a museum, and I'm very excited. So we're in Bay St. Louis, which is near New Orleans. And obviously everyone knows that in 2005 Katrina came through here and just devastated the whole area. It's like one of the worst natural disasters, thank you for the word. Natural disasters in the US. So it was crazy bad, and I vaguely remember it when it happened. So we figured that since we're here in Bay St. Louis, I'm gonna guess that all of this was pretty much flattened, because we can see a lot of new houses, a lot of new builds. So they have a museum in Bay St. Louis, so we're gonna go in, check it out, and hopefully get some information.
See you there.
Gusts much higher than that, bringing with her all kinds of problems. Buildings have collapsed. There are reports from New Orleans of people trapped in buildings that have come down around them. They have made desperate calls to 911 asking for help, asking for rescue, but the rescuers can't get out. It's simply too dangerous right now in those plus 135-mile-an-hour winds to put anybody out on the streets. Those people who ignored the evacuation orders, or maybe for one reason or another didn't get them, are simply going to have to wait and rescue themselves until the worst of this storm passes. At least one levee has broken in New Orleans, leading to some localized flooding, but there could be far worse still to come as the storm surge and as the rainfall from Hurricane Katrina hits. In Alabama, the National Guard has been dispatched to Mobile and Baldwin counties. They are expecting some severe damage.
So we're at Ground Zero Hurricane Museum in Waveland. It is free to get in here, but they do ask for donations. I totally think it's worth visiting if you're in this area. Does there anything you want to
So
add?
there is an admission, and it's you have to sign the guest book.
Yes.
So we have done that under the name of Brazen Brits. yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It's not like it's not how you would normally picture a museum, you know, big building with fancy stuff. It's a lot of pictures, but they do have a timeline around the walls, and the most impactful thing, I think, is the water line. It's like 10 or 11 feet, something I should really know, but it's about 10 or 11 feet up the wall, so you can actually see how high the water level was during this time. But yeah, it's very cool. They have you know, it's the only historic building that survived the whole storm in this area. It used to be a school, and they have pictures of the damage of the school inside, and they have, you know, some of the old artifacts that they had in the school in there. But yeah, most of it is just pictures with a timeline. But yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
It was a crazy time.
Worth visiting.
Yeah, for sure.
Feel sick?
Please kill me. Please. I can't finish it. So we were very excited to come down and see a Mardi Gras parade here in St. Louis. We got here about 2 hours ago, and it was okay. It had rained a bit, but it was okay. And we've been stood there for 2 hours waiting for this parade to start that is now 2.5 hours late, and it's freezing. So we've come back. I say it's freezing, it actually says that it's 13 degrees.
It's still pretty cold. We're very lucky that we were chatting to a very nice couple for the last 2 hours, and he gave me some beads, which is great, but there's still no parade.
There's no parade. 2.5 hours late, it's freezing, and I can't feel my hands, so we're coming to sit back in the truck. But now we've got that decision. Now, what would you guys do? We've been here for 2 hours, we're hungry, we're cold, the parade is about to start any minute because they're 2 hours late. So would you stick around and wait, or would you cut your losses and go and get some lunch and then go home? What do we do?
We're waiting.
the heat on.
It's cold.
So, that was worth waiting for.
It was really fun. I enjoyed that. Hi Roxy.
So that was the parade at Bay St. Louis. It was cold. It did get a bit warmer towards the end. It was freezing earlier, and then yeah, it warmed up, and obviously we were messing about, and it's good fun. And I got the special, my special necklace that I mean, it's priceless. Absolutely priceless. So yeah, so that was cool. The mess afterwards.
Oh, I don't even know
amazing.
how long that's going to take to clean that up. There were beads everywhere. In fact, I think there's 2 under our car as we speak, just from the drive back. There's a lot of plastic everywhere. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, there was. You can hear Roxy pacing around.
Come on, I know, we just come back, come and sit down.
So anyway, so it was a really good time. I'm really glad we did hang around. It started shortly after we were hanging around in the car, so pretty much as soon as we recorded that clip, we went straight back out and it was starting, so that was cool. One other thing I wanted to mention is you'll see the camera that I was holding. I was trialling out the GoPro 360, which was really cool actually. It's a really cool kit. The problem that I have found when reading up is that it's very difficult to edit the footage. So I don't know whether I'm going to put that in this or not.
Don't hold your breath.
There's no software for a PC to edit the footage, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't even know if I'm going to keep it. If anyone's interested, I'll let you know. But yeah, so we'll see about that. So if you wondered what that was that I was holding at the end of a stick, it was just a GoPro camera. So there's that. The other thing we should probably mention, which we haven't put in this video, is at the beginning you saw the camera falling on Natalie. She was doing a bag review. A lot of people ask us what kind of stuff we use. So we were doing a bag review for someone who was interested in that. I've got a bag that I'm going to do that for. 95% of people watching this really couldn't care less about what bag we're using. So we're going to put that in a separate video, so keep an eye open for that. Apart from that, I think that's it, right?
Yes, we will see you hopefully next week in actual New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
New Orleans. See you guys.
Oh, I'm so sexy with her beads on.